See, there's not a lot of support for what you're saying in one way.
No.
You look at the whole media thing at the moment where, you know, we're October 2000, is it October, November today, 2008? Yeah, I almost forgot for a minute. And you know, everything just seems so unstable.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the banks nearly collapsed a few weeks ago, and there was terrible problems somewhere in Africa on the news this morning with people rioting and no food. You feel sorry for them. Does that, when you watch the news on TV, like you see people suffering, does that somehow affect Tony?
Well, there is no Tony, but what is seen is what's happening. Of course, the other thing that's amazing about this, I mean, I meet people who think they're individuals and are suffering in a much smaller degree than Uganda or wherever it is, the Congo. I think.
Congo, I think, yeah.
But in a sense, what's happening is that they feel they're suffering, and they think that suffering is happening to them. But when, from this point of view, it is seen that there's no one there that's happening to, that's absolute love. And in some way or other, that which thinks it's suffering senses that. There's nobody suffers. There's just suffering.
Yeah, and I guess.
But I mean, it's easy to say that. Those are just words.
Yeah, and those people, they don't have.
Oh,
they don't have an overview. They don't have food. Their kids are starving.
It would be totally inappropriate for me to go to the Congo and say there's no one there.
Yeah.
But in answer to your question, that's the leap.
Yeah. Is there hope for humanity?
There doesn't have to be, because everything that's happening is simply the expression of wholeness.
Yeah.
Wholeness isn't interested in, somehow saving this earth or anybody becoming enlightened, because seeking and suffering is wholeness.
On the other hand, it seems that what wholeness may be doing, I know you're going to say wholeness doesn't do anything, but in my terms, what is maybe happening is that it's becoming so obvious to humanity on a global scale, this whole set of rules we've got or whatever doesn't work anymore.
No.
The whole thing of consumerism and debt and just having more and more. Yeah. It's just such an obvious message, and it's, for many people, it's a devastating message because they don't really know anything else.
No.
Especially in the United States, it's just devastating for them.
Totally. There's a total investment in the individual. But the other fascinating thing about this message is that neuroscientists are coming to the same conclusion. They're working with the brain people, and they are coming to the conclusion very strongly, although you don't hear much about it, of course, that there is no such thing as an individual with free will and choice. Yeah. That the whole thing is run in here from that point of view. I mean, they don't talk about wholeness, of course, but it's interesting.
Well, I don't know, someone was sitting on that chair 2 or 3 months ago, a woman called Manji, and she's written a book called Punk Science. She's actually a medical doctor, but she's done a lot of physics, and she was saying, I have heard this before, that basically what happens is when in science you look and you try and find the centre of something, actually you never find anything. I'm looking at you, magnify.
Yeah.
And all I've ever found so far, I think it's string theory, is a suggestion that something may have been there.
Yes.
They don't find scientifically anything tangible.
No.
And the other thing she was saying, which I thought was absolutely fascinating, was that it's like this holographic principle that every tiny whatever it is, even though there's nothing there, every tiny, and she had a phrase for this, and I forget what it was, contains everything.
Yes, it does, because you see, what's fascinating is that, for instance, so far the quark is supposed to be one of the smallest things that scientists discovered. Yeah. What they discovered to their alarm is that it both is and isn't.
That's right.
It isn't that it is and then isn't. It actually is and isn't. Yeah. So there's nothing that's real or unreal.
Yes, and we're all apparently full of black holes. There's black holes everywhere, different sizes. Yeah. And the other thing was, which just blew my mind, was that from a scientific point of view, and you may disagree with this, I don't know, but all we experience is 4% of reality. Yeah. There's another 96% on different levels of reality that we just do not experience happening at the same time.
No, that is so, but in another sense, for me, it is that as a separate individual, nothing is seen as it really is, because it's seen through like cling film or a veil. It's like everything that the individual sees from the point of view of being separate and something here looking at something else. After liberation, that completely collapses, and everything is simply what it is. Absolutely what it is, simply as it is.
As you
it's
see
a totally different
as
scene.
It's seen in that moment.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah. And do you see other dimensions, things like
no,
that?
No, I don't need to, because this is enough.
Yeah.
There's no need to see other dimensions or anything grand or strange. This is a miracle. This is just a miracle, you know. Why bother? You know? Well, why would you if there's only in-loveness with this?
Yeah. But maybe they appear, who knows?
Yeah,
the appropriateness of oneness.
The wholeness appearing as a strange form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, for a second, because I'm sure there was something else I really wanted to ask you, although I think we've covered most of it. Yeah, I highlighted this thing, in essence, what is sought is love, which you've kind of talked about that. And that's kind of, if you had a message, and I know that in a way you don't have a message because no one have a message, but that is the important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could call wholeness absolute unconditional love. They're all words, you know.
Yeah.
But yes, that's basically what we long for, is the ultimate love that we absolutely know, we absolutely remember as tiny child. We're just trying to return to childlike wonder.
Yeah. And that's how children often are, isn't
it?
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's what we sense in tiny children.
Yeah.
Just this.
Yeah. And that's happening with you moment to moment, this wonder.
It's just happening.
Just happening, yeah. It sounds amazing.
It's amazing for no one.
Okay, Tony, thanks very much for coming on to Conscious TV. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully. Goodbye.